Good morning to you. It must be 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time somewhere out there because it's time for another edition of Hardison's Tips. I'm your host, Brandon Hardison, President of Champion Strategies, and we do this for all of our brothers and sisters that are in the sales vertical, whether they're major account, key account, up and down the street, in home sales, regular retail sales, automotive sales. So, on this beautiful middle of the week, October the 13th, let's unpack this because you have to get dressed and get going. All this week up till today, we were looking at our brothers and sisters in the copier industry because it's been a while since we talked about them. They are going through challenges like everyone else, but it hurts them more. It's a lot of business out there. Technology is picked up. Leading OEMs like Minolta and some of the other ones are scrambling to find good service techs or sales managers, working sales managers. They go with their people out in the field to the appointment and show them how they close a deal or keep a relationship going. So today I wanted to end the copier, but still it affects all of us as a whole. And that's the supply chain warnings that you're hearing about. So, a good way to get people in this lingering pandemic era is to ask whether they have tried to rent a car lately. Even if they haven't, they have likely heard stories, perhaps largely empty lights that you do see. And we do see a lot of empty lots at airports. But since we're down here in the South, Atlanta Airport, which is the busiest, and you're saying to yourself, where are the vehicles? Because there's none around, there's none can be found. You may have set an appointment for a vehicle and you find out when you get there, it's not there. But this also happens in the movie industry. It's happening in any industry that you can think of, fast foods. We need to find a way to loosen up and get some of the products that we need to sell for our industry. But just wanted to give you a little look on that. So you may be thinking, okay, so what are these supply chain issues? And why, more than a year and a half into this pandemic, do they keep popping up so many times over the past year and a half? The shortages that we're running into, like rental cars, new cars, it's really not pretty. But the same thing for the copier industry. Several new outlets are reporting on the increasing instability of the global supply chain. Now, the very connection stems from a recent open letter from the Internal Chamber of Shipping and other groups, and they presented it to the United Nations. The letter reinforces that industry is repeating to not fill up to their obligations internationally. So they're calling for freedom of movement for transportation workers and governments to use protocols that have already been endorsed by international bodies for each sector to prioritize transport workers for vaccinations. The key, we just found it. Many people do not want to get vaccinated. And if it's their health issues, there's their religious rights, they have the right to do it. But because they are making these decisions, we as a whole are suffering. In a swift decision and coordinated changes are not made to support the already crumbling global supply chains, there's going to be a risk, a collapse in the system going down the road. In particular, the letter cites that the risk of the personnel shortage poses, as I quote, it is of great concern that we also seeking shortages of workers of expected more to leave their current industry, whatever it is. And that's going to be a big threat. Right now, the commercial pipeline each year brings in trillions of dollars worth of toys, clothing, electronics, furniture from Asia to the United States. And it's clogged, and no one knows how to unclog it. This month, the median cost of shipping a standard container from China to the west coast of the United States hit a record 20,586, almost twice that in the cost in July. So, which was twice as much as July, do you have a fear, an inkling that that price is going to jump? Because I think it will. As Americans, we have a lot of things going on that can stress out people to headaches. And some of us are optimists and think it's only going to be temporary. But the coronavirus pandemic that we're going through now, we still are looking at first, second quarter of 2022 before something eases up. So no matter what industry you're in, the product is sitting in the Pacific Ocean. We can't find a way to get it in. So, what would you do as a sales professional when your customer is asking you, when do I get my copier? When do we have this team solution selling so we can get networked and get moving on? Same thing for automobiles, same thing for toys. We're all going to be feeling this a lot more unless something's done very soon. Once again, Brandon Hardison, President of Champion Strategies, on this beautiful 13th day of October. And as always, in parting, you go out, you make it a champion day.